Hi everyone, and welcome back to Space. Today is our second video in the series looking into the most tragic accidents in space. This one today is about Vladimir Komarov. This guy is an absolute legend. I read up on his Wikipedia page and did some other research on him. He is an extremely headstrong warrior. Let's start from the beginning. Vladimir Komarov was a Soviet test pilot, aeronaut, engineer, and cosmonaut. He was declared medically unfit for training not once, but twice. He lobbied hard to be accepted back in the Cosmonaut Training Center, and he was successful. In July 1964, 7 cosmonauts remained eligible for the Voskhod crew. On the 6th of July, he was named the commander of the backup crew for Voskhod 1. Of course, Vladimir being Vladimir, he argued pretty hard, and on the 4th of October, he was named as the primary crew just 8 days before its scheduled launch. He launched and did some tests while in space with his crewmates, typical, came back a successful cosmonaut, and he became BFFs with Yuri Gagarin. Huh, I know that name, don't you? Then Komarov was assigned to the Soviet Soyuz Program along with his new BFF Yuri Gagarin and Alexei Leonov. The plan was to launch a capsule, the Soyuz 1, with Komarov inside. The next day, a second vehicle would take off with 2 additional cosmonauts. Then the 2 vehicles would meet, dock, Komarov would crawl from one vehicle to the other, exchanging places with the colleagues, and then come home in the second ship. While the guys were ongoing with tests, they, along with the engineers, discovered problems. In fact, they found 203 structural problems, one in which the 0G test showed the Soyuz module hatch was too small to allow a safe exit of a fully suited cosmonaut. Huh, that's kind of an issue. Komarov and his colleagues became increasingly anxious about the lack of response to their concerns about the design and the manufacturing of the spacecraft, which Yuri Gagarin raised in a 10-page letter on their behalf to the leader of the Soviet Union, imploring them to postpone. No one wanted to send the letter up the chain of command. In fact, anyone who saw that memo was demoted, fired, or sent to a diplomatic Siberia. With less than a month to go before launch, they realized postponement was not an option. Komarov stated that he was not going to make it back on his flight. But why didn't he refuse, you might ask? Well, this is again where Vladimir is a hero. Komarov answered, if I don't make this flight, they'll send the backup pilot instead, and that backup pilot was Yuri Gagarin. Vladimir Komarov couldn't do that to his friend. He even asked Gagarin before the flight to make sure his funeral would be open casket so the Soviet leadership would see what they had done. Oh my God, that's tragic. Yuri and Komarov worked 12 to 14-hour days before the flight. On launch day, April 23, 1967, a Russian journalist reported that Gagarin showed up at the launch site and demanded to be put on the spaceship, though no one was expecting him to fly. All in all, they were saying he was trying to muscle onto the flight to save his friend. The Soyuz left Earth with Komarov on board. Once the Soyuz began to orbit Earth, the failures began. Antennas didn't open properly, power was compromised, navigation proved difficult. The next day's launch had to be canceled, and worst, Komarov's chances for a safe return to Earth were dwindling fast. Alexei Kozygin called on a video phone to tell him that he was a hero. Komarov's wife was also on the phone, and they were talking about what to say to their children. When the capsule began its descent and the parachutes failed to open, American intelligence picked up Komarov's cries of rage as he plunged to his death. Ha! That's absolutely terrible. Wow, this guy's a total badass. Even though he did everything he could to try and raise awareness about how inefficient the program was, he saved his best friend's life and literally was a martyr. That's amazing. I mean, not amazing, but it's very touching. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Vladimir Komarov was a total badass, if I can say that. And I hope that you guys learned something new about our good friend Vladimir. Make sure you like and subscribe because our next video will be about the Shuttle Challenger explosion.